Perfect. Hey guys, it's Elizabeth with the Four Walls Podcast, and today I have Cynthia joining me. Thank you so much.
So glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's my pleasure. So, if you were to be introduced to everyone listening, who is Cynthia?
Well, I'm Sin from Sin Limit Adventures, a girl from the South Bronx who was born to Honduran parents. Going to Honduras was something that we did yearly, every summer to visit my grandparents who were still back there. When I was about 14, 15, I don't even know how it came about, but I realized that people were going to Honduras for tourism, but my village in Honduras was not a tourist attraction. So I begged my mom to see where the tourist goes. And that is when my love for travel started. In college, I was a French minor. So I studied abroad in Senegal as opposed to going to France. And after that, me sitting down was not an option. I did a Fulbright to Cameroon, Central Africa, and came back to the States to teach early childhood education, but I would definitely use my calendar to book my trips because there was still this love to continue to see the world. In 2018, I took a year off of being a vice principal at that time because back in 2016, I was traveling throughout Central America and I met so many Europeans who literally took their savings and said they were going to travel the world. And once they were broke again, they were going to go back home, work, and rinse and repeat, which was the first time I've actually heard anyone do that. But it was so common during this trip of mine that when I came back from this trip, I let my boss know that I was going to take a year off, a year and a half early. No, not a year and a half early, but a year and a half. I gave her a year and a half notice that I was going to take a year off. And I did. And when I was done, I still had a job to come back to. I was able to visit 30 countries during that year off. And I'm currently at country 130 with the hopes of visiting all of them by my 40th birthday, November 2027.
That is so exciting. You'll definitely get there. That is amazing.
Thank you.
What an amazing goal. And to see every country by 40, how amazing.
Fingers crossed.
I believe in you, the way that you racking them up. Because you went to, I think I saw one of your videos where you went to like 32 countries last year or something like that, right?
Yeah, 32.
It's gonna be a piece of cake. That is amazing. So, how was it for you? Because you said you went to Honduras every summer. So, how was it like going from being where your family and your grandparents lived to seeing the tourist area? Because you said that was kind of the difference that it made for you actually getting into traveling.
Yes, so I was just really intrigued that, like, why would people go to Honduras, right? Like, not to say that my village isn't beautiful, it is, but it doesn't look like the Bay Islands or Roatán. Um, the waters aren't as blue, there aren't merchants selling. And so I just, once I saw that, I was like, oh, so other places can look like this too? Or what am I not seeing? And so that definitely sparked my interest.
Awesome. And then, so are you still working as a vice principal at all, or you're fully transitioned now into full-time travel?
I have fully transitioned. After being a vice principal for 8 years, I was a principal for three. I have seen two classes of my first graders graduate high school, and my third class will graduate this year. So it was a great run. I'm still in contact with a lot of my parents, former parents, but seeing the world trumped educating children because I think I've already done my due diligence. So now it's time for
Absolutely. Yeah, 8 years. That's quite a long time. Wow. So, what were Central America? That's where you spent most of your gap year, right?
no, I would do 4 to 6 weeks in a region. So
Mm.
I did 4 to 6 weeks in Europe, October to November. And then my birthday is in November. I hosted a trip for my birthday. And then after that, I did 6 weeks in Asia. I did a month in the Caribbean. And then I also spent some time on the continent of Africa. Yeah, I went around the world for sure.
How did you go about planning that?
Oh, I'm a big believer in chasing deals, not destinations. So whenever there was a flight deal, that's where I would go and I would work around that. So yeah, like I found like a deal to Thailand for like 700 bucks round trips. So yeah, we're gonna go to Asia for 6 weeks. So that's how I planned it out.
That's amazing. And in that time frame, what would you say was one of like the most influential experiences that you had?
I would say just like the notion of actually doing it, right? Like people are always just like, what are you gonna do for money? How are you gonna survive? I survived. So just being able to do it was like the highlight of it all. At that moment, I had multiple real estate investments. So I still had my house. So anytime I was back, I was home. I had a roommate at the time, so the house was always taken care of. But always having a place to come back to made the journey even much better for me. And I'm gonna be home in a few weeks. So I'm gonna sleep in my own bed soon. But yeah, just the just being able to do it was like the highlight of the entire trip.
Absolutely. And that kind of brought in the how did you like financially plan for that? Like I know you gave a year and a half notice. So you had a year and a half to get ready. How did that look like? 'Cause that's a long time to be off of work.
Yes. So it really looked like paying for flights, accommodations while I was still working. So by the time it was time for me to travel, things were already paid for, mortgages were already prepaid. So whatever money I was getting through real estate, that was like the money I used to survive.
That's awesome. So then when you were in places, were you still at hotels or were you kind of at like long-term stays or
So I did a few things. I definitely couch surfed, which was fun, and I was lucky enough to um, never actually have to sleep on a couch. So in St. Thomas, I was on a catamaran. I was on a boat for a week. In St. Croix, I had my own room. In Rotterdam, I had my own room. So I was very, very lucky. Most of the times I stayed at Airbnbs, and at that time, hostels too. So it really depended on how long I was going to be in a destination and how much the lodging cost. Yeah,
okay, yeah, so you kind of did a mix of it all.
sure did. Had to stretch that dollar.
I'm so amazed by that because you're so right about the fact that there are so many Europeans that take that year off, and in America, it's like unthought of. Like, there's so much pressure that you have to go straight into college and then straight into work. So, like, did you feel like you had a lot of support, or were there more people that were like, what are you doing? Like,
People were very, very confused about my decision to do it. But also, like looking back now, there are a lot of people who are just like, "You're so brave. I wish I had like the courage to do that." Or you're really encouraging me to like plan financially so that I can do it. Maybe not a year, but like a month or two, um, baby steps. So I've definitely helped other people change their mind about what does it look like to take sabbaticals or early retirements. Because I truly believe if I wanted to go back to work, or if I have to go back to work, I would go back to work, right? I don't have to yet, but my one time in Petra, seeing so many elderly folks be ambulanced out because they waited so long to visit places. It's like, oh no, that cannot be me. When I am of retirement age, I will just be in the house, right? So like doing this backwards kind of I'm here for it. If I go back to work at 40, 42, fine, but at least I've known that I have seen everything I wanted to see, ably done the things that I wanted to do, and then I can sit down somewhere or not, right? But yeah, being able-bodied and traveling the world right now, it's where it's at.
absolutely. I love that you did that when that mindset of like in reversal, because it's so true, right? Like when you travel to these places and you see people and you're like, wow, like you see them and it's like, are you really enjoying the experience or are you like dying inside? Because this is a lot of like, I'm dying and I'm a quarter of your age.
No, for real. Yeah, I'm here for it. Do it while you can, do it while you're young, because money returns, time doesn't. So,
Absolutely. And those experiences, at least you'll look back and you'll be like, I may not have done it in a five-star hotel or on this other thing, but I did it and I had the experience, and that's all that matters.
that part, absolutely.
So, when did you get the goal to visit all of the countries in the world by 40? Like, when was that like the this is what I'm doing?
It was actually my birthday last year. It's like, all right, we're turning 38. There has to be like a time cap on this just traveling the world thing. And at that point, I was at country 121. And I was like, well, I think we can do it. And if we don't do it, it's okay. But it was definitely the umph that I needed to like make sure this year I am planned out. After realizing that I only went to 32 countries last year, with only half of them being new, I felt like I had kind of not done a good job last year. And then I realized it was just my year of rest after 15 years in education. So I was okay with that, but I was like, no, next year we're definitely doing it up. So I'm already at 4 countries in. I am heading to Brazil soon. I'll visit Brazil and Paraguay. So I'll be at 6 countries super soon. So I'm really excited about the marathon of countries I am going to visit this year.
Absolutely. And you've got tons of group trips coming up, right?
I also have group trips coming up. And those are the only places that I am revisiting. I'll be hosting a trip to more Central American countries. Nicaragua and Honduras are happening this quarter and next quarter. And then I'm hosting Barbados and Aruba for the first time this summer. I'm also hosting Belize, which will be a new trip. And a repeat will be Iceland, which I'm really excited about. Hopefully, I'll be 3 for 3 catching the Northern Lights.
Wow, that'll be so amazing. And how do you go about picking which cities you want to do these trips in?
So it's really about, again, airline prices and affordability. Even though Iceland is an expensive country to visit once you get there, we just go for a quick weekend, a long weekend trip. Get in, go straight to the Blue Lagoon. By the time we're done with the Blue Lagoon, head to our accommodations, chill, dinner, check out the Northern Lights. The next day, do the Golden Circle tour. And then we end the trip with a local experience at a local bathhouse before coming back and getting ready to go to work the next day. So it works out because anything longer than a weekend, you must bring a lot of money. Places that I have enjoyed that people might enjoy. I also send my adventurers a survey to get input on locations, and I base it off of that. Central America is always a great place to go to because it's super affordable. And from the DC area, New York area, it's like a 4 hour, 5 hour flight. Yeah, short flights, affordability, and flexibility.
That's awesome. So, and do you want to talk a little bit about the community that you have? Is that where you kind of post them first, or?
Yes, so the adventurers community of professionals who have PTO, want to renew to get stronger and or stay in their jobs a little longer, but don't have a community yet, or they're tired of the trip not making it out the group chat. But to limit adventures always do make it out the group chat. It's also where strangers become friends, families, besties. So this last trip, which I just came back from this morning, everyone on the trip except one person was on the Iceland trip. And you would have thought that they were BFFs before Iceland, but Iceland was the first time and the last time that they saw each other. And they saw each other again this weekend in El Salvador. So it's just really cool to organically build something. I'm very intuitive with people. So I'm just like, are these people going to be a good mix? Yes. Everybody works. Everybody cares about humanity. Everybody just wants to have a good time. And Sin Limit Adventures definitely provides space for rest, which I truly believe that we deserve. So, yeah, rest, adventure, and renewing to continue to do whatever it is that you want to do at this point of your life.
I love that. And so is that why you kind of cater to like shorter trips, like the long, like kind of like the Friday to Sunday or Friday to Monday for the people that are still working?
Yes, I also think too, when people think about vacationing, it's like this one trip a year type thing.
Mhm.
Planning it out for a really long time versus no, you can take shorter and more frequent trips. Let me show you how. Also, this might be a place that you might want to return to. So one adventurer was saying, "Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to come back here and bring so and so here. Now I know what to do, where to stay, like what are some activities I can do." Like that's what it's all about. Like I am bridging the gap of traveling through giving you, I like to call it a little appetizer, right? Because it's a short trip, right? But it's enough to um, get you to come back, and you at least have some familiarity with the location that you feel comfortable. A lot of people are just afraid to travel because one, they probably don't know the language. Two, they've never been before. What am I supposed to do here? Who am I supposed to connect with? But if you come on an adventure, you've been there before. You might not have seen everything, but you've seen enough to feel comfortable when you do come back.
That's amazing. And I love that you say that you're bridging that gap because it's so true, especially in America with how our PTO is set up, right? Like we don't really get a lot. So you're right. A lot of people do take that one trip a year and it's just like, well, we could go on some weekend trips, especially from your area with the 5-hour flights. That's so perfect.
Mm.
That's awesome. So, what kind of drew you to get into creating the community from going from I'm going to travel more to did you like see that there was a need for it? Is that kind of it? Or did you just want to have that?
So I always like to travel for my birthday, and I always travel with my friends, and they really like egg me on to like do more. It's like this one trip a year thing, isn't it, girl? Like, you always traveling by yourself. How about you let other people join you? And it's like, do people really want to join me? Like, I also feel like my travel style is different. Like, I will stay at a random place. People are a little bit more pickier than I am in terms of their accommodation. It's like, we've been on your birthday trips and they've been fun, so let's do something else. And that's how it really started. My friend saying, one trip is not enough. We need to go on more trips. Like you go on more trips by yourself, start inviting people. And so it started out as with my friends, and then my friends will refer their friends. And so that's how people started to hear about it. And then we just grew like that. So, like, most people know someone, and that's how they get invited on a trip.
That's amazing. That's such a beautiful community that you're building, especially because it's based on word of mouth. So I feel like that gives a good vibe to it because there's going to be a lot of like similarities between the people that are joining.
Exactly. It's so organic. It feels good. The more I travel, the more I know that, like, humans are generally good. And if my friends are referring you and their friends are referring you, then a good time is going to be had for sure.
That's amazing. So when you set up your group trips, do you usually try to do like most things together, or do you leave like pockets of time? Because you said you wanted the rest and recovery. Is that kind of like when people go out to do their own thing if they want to do that, or
So the rest and recovery piece is definitely built in. I also like to tell adventurers that this is everyone's trip. So like if there's an activity that we're doing that you don't want to do, you don't have to do it. Um, as long as people feel comfortable with whatever it is that they want to do, go for it. Every trip has like a component of massage or hot spring or anything relaxing where find a spot in the water, go that way. And come back when you're ready. So on this trip, it was definitely, we did a hot springs in Santa Teresa on Saturday, and then we were at a beach club on Sunday. Some people slept during that time. People partied really hard during that time. So whatever it looks like for you to rest, go ahead and do it. It will already be to land in, but then there will be multiple times throughout the trip where you can just retreat. That's one thing about the accommodations that I book. Like there has to be enough space for people to retreat. So this time I stayed at a 5-bedroom ranch house that was on this lovely plot of land, benches over by the river, hammocks around the property, a pool. So like if you didn't want to be in your room, there was enough space outside for you to just read a book, chill out, do nothing, do everything. We didn't even use the game room because we were enjoying each other's company and just being.
Wow, that is definitely a vibe right there. You had me at the hammocks. You had me beforehand. The hammocks was like, okay, yeah, I can see myself.
Love a
So,
good ham.
yes, like when I see a hotel with a hammock, I'm like, immediately, you take my money. So, I saw that you made it to all 50 states. Congratulations for being one of the few Americans that can say that. What would you say is like one of your underrated takes on like a state that you feel like doesn't get enough love?
So, as a New Yorker, I'm a big city girl, and I also don't know how to drive. At 38, yes, I know I don't know how to drive. And I don't think I ever will learn how to drive, and I'm okay with that. Totally okay with that. So, when I visited the Midwest, I flew into Cheyenne and traveled to Montana, the Dakotas, and then to Minnesota by bus.
What was that?
Yeah, it was definitely an experience, but I did it. And so the Midwest is probably my favorite part area of the US, which I didn't think that would be the case for a city girl like me, but it is just like the natural beauty. People are so friendly. It's just so different from the East Coast or the West Coast, in my opinion. And yeah, between Montana and Wyoming, I mean, Rapid City was probably my favorite city in the Midwest. What was that? North Dakota. Yes, South Dakota. One of the Dakotas, wherever Rapid City is, definitely one of my favorites.
I was definitely not expecting that to be your answer.
Telling you, I'm surprised myself.
I love that. So, with all the travels that you've done, are there a lot of countries that you find yourself like drawn back to?
So, because I studied abroad in Senegal, and it was the first country I visited outside of Honduras, I will always say that Senegal is my favorite country in Africa. I lived with a homestay family and they really took care of your girl. And so I go back frequently to visit them. Last year alone, I was in Senegal 3 times, which unfortunately would not be the case this year. But it was just really great to see people grow up. Like I was how old was I? I was 19 when I met them, and like my little niece, she was 2 at that point. Now she's like 21. Like it's insane. Like I literally have watched you grow up. So it's been great to still be a part of their family and have a family somewhere else, right? Like I always have a place to stay in Senegal, even though I don't stay with them, but it's I'm glad we're still in touch.
That's so beautiful. And do you still have like a lot of friends when you did your study abroad that you still visit when you're there too, or is it just really the family?
It's literally just the family. Because I went with a program, so anyone that I met there, they're all around the States or abroad, mainly like working with State Department or being a professor somewhere.
That is so cool. And how would you say that kind of helped shape who you are today in terms of like how you travel and like the amount that you travel? Do you feel like that was impactful?
Definitely impactful, especially with once I came back and I studied abroad when I was a sophomore. I wound up doing the Fulbright after I graduated. And then I did go back to get my master's in international ed, even though I wasn't using that degree as a VP. I just knew that seeing the world really does shape one's life. So like when I talk to my former parents or when they were my actual parents, it's like, hey, whatever your child does, make sure there's a foreign language in there somewhere, or, let's start traveling. We can start with places here in the States. But the amount of just broadening one's horizon through travel really did shape me into bringing that into my job. So in my office, I used to have a map with pins of every place that I went to. And kids, you gotta go to the principal's office one day, right? Like, tell me about this place. That pin wasn't there last time. Did you travel over the long weekend? Oh, I'm gonna get a passport just like you so I can start seeing the world too, right? Like it was definitely a conversation starter in my office. So we were just like, why are you the principal's office shouldn't be a fun place to be? And I'm just like, let's change the narrative about that too. Like, no, the pal and principal means I can be a pal, right? So yeah, travel has definitely shaped me, and now it's my turn to like educate adults, right, with seeing the world. I had the children piece on lock already, so now it's no, you can still go somewhere for a long weekend, or no, I don't think that narrative about that country is true anymore. Let's go see it for ourselves.
Yes, I love that, especially the last part, the narrative about the country. You gotta go and see for yourself for sure. You just never know.
That part.
You never know. So back to being a principal and the children, it's been, you've seen them grow. Have they come, like, reached out to you and been like, hey, I went to this country because of you? Have you had one of those moments yet?
Not yet. I've had those with adults, but not with children yet, as they are right now either freshmen or sophomores in college. So they're still navigating that. But I can't wait to get that. I have gotten the "Are you still traveling" piece. I was like, how do you remember that? Like, I was your first grade teacher. What do you mean, are you still traveling? I am, and thank you.
That's how you know it was impactful. The first grade teacher, and they're still 20, almost 20 years later, they're like, so I remember.
Hmm.
Okay, the impact. Oh, that is amazing. Well, you've definitely impacted so many people. I could just tell. Like, that's so beautiful. And now you're doing it for adults. And how does it, like, what does it feel like to know that, like, you're really helping broaden the world for so many other people, which is ultimately making the world a better place?
Oh, thanks. It feels good, right? Um, I've always said that I wanted to like retire by 40. My mom always thought I was crazy. And then when I did it 3 years earlier, she's like, this is weird. Also, you definitely said you were going to do this. But because no one has done it before, she doesn't know anyone who has done it before. It's still a little weird. I was over her house like a week ago. She's like, not for nothing, but I don't mean to pry. How are we still doing this? I'm like, Mom, don't you fret. Not doing anything crazy out here. Just real estate investments, okay? But it feels really good, right? Like I think we've been conditioned to, work till we're 65. Retirement, what's that? Like, no, work, 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 and no play. And then life passes by and you have enjoyed nothing. It's time for us to like reclaim our joy, see the world, try new things. There will be jobs out there, right? Like, it's okay, but like, what do you want to do with your time now? And I think as an educator, I poured so much into my students, into my work, and it was great. Do not get me wrong. Totally enjoyed my time. But there's also like the other side of education, right? Like when people grow, there's also that. Like I sleep really well knowing that there are not 400 plus kiddos I need to think about on a daily basis. I am proud of my impact and I'm really excited to continue to impact others in this new light of travel because the world is a beautiful place and it's worthy of being explored. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And explored, I feel like explored by everyone, like no matter like your background, right? Like the world needs to be seen so you can experience different life outside of your own, right? Because it's like your life in your town is not the world. And I feel like that's
Mm,
a big thing that a lot of people that travel for the first time probably are like, wow, the world really is like huge. It's not just the US.
that part. It's not really scary out there.
That part. Like the amount of times I've traveled and I'm like, wow, I feel so safe just walking around, not having to worry about a thing. And it's just like, this is how it is.
That is one question I get so often. Do you feel safe? I'm like, absolutely. No one is checking for me.
Isn't that a crazy thing. I also get that question a lot. Like, oh, like, don't, aren't you scared? Or isn't it like, what about those countries? And it's just kind of like, well, what makes you feel like being here in the States is any safer?
Talk about it. I do feel safer abroad than I do here. That's for sure. Like, you know, everyone's like, what do I do? If I'm traveling by myself, I go out. If there's Uber, I'll stay out a little later. If there's no Uber, I'm back at where I need to be, right? So definitely the regular precautions, but in terms of daytime, just walking around, seeing what I need to see, feel super safe. Doesn't really matter where I am.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's a big part to a lot of it. But anyways, so what is one of the countries that you're most looking forward to this year that's going to be new for you?
So after seeing everyone in Brazil for New Year, I'm like, well, I can't wait to go see it. Yeah, so I'll be in Brazil. I'm gonna visit Salvador, Rio, and Iguazu, before heading to Paraguay. So I'm excited about that. I'm also super excited about visiting Angola this year. I don't speak any Portuguese, but I do speak Spanish and French, and I am hopeful it's going to help me out. I survived Mozambique, so I think I can do it. Excited about Angola for sure. And then I haven't been back in Asia since 2019. That's later on this year, but I will be visiting Hong Kong, mainland China, South Korea, and Vietnam. And I'm really excited about that.
That is going to be such a fun trip. What a fun year. Actually, every trip sounds really fun.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm definitely biased for the Vietnam was definitely a hit. That was a really good country to visit.
Gotta get my visa, gotta get a new passport first. I have 4 pages left
Ooh.
in my passport, and my passport is not even 2 years old yet, which is like a great problem to have. But there were a lot of visas in there that still had like a 4 year life on it that I'm really sad I will not be able to use. But collecting passport books, I enjoy
A good hobby.
that.
You're gonna get the passport flex at some point. So, you haven't been to mainland China yet, or have you already been and you're just kind of no?
I have not. I literally just bought this ticket last week. It was a deal out of Philly for 650 round trip to Hong Kong. And I was like, well,
Yes,
this is my end. This is my end.
that is amazing. That is gonna be so fun. Especially, I feel like China, like mainland China, is really going crazy on social media right now. Like, so many people are like this city, like Shanghai, Beijing, and what is it, the other one, like Chengdu?
You are right. I have seen a lot of people lately visiting China, which is also it's exciting, right? Like China was like never at the top of my list of places to visit just because of their curiosity with people who look like me, not
Hmm.
even hiding their phones to not even trying to sneak a selfie,
Hmm.
just taking
No,
pictures.
it's very blatant. It's very blatant.
And I'm just like, all right, all right, all right, it's time. I'm a little bit more well-traveled now. I was like, I can do this, but the narrative is it's not given that anymore. So I'm excited to experience it for myself. So
So
we
I
shall
will
see.
say, I just got back from China like a week and a half ago.
What's tea? What's tea? Go ahead.
It's still giving,
Well, thank you. I have like 6 more months to get my life together.
but it's not bad. So I went with my partner, and he looks like you. He never felt like anyone was like in his face with it, but he said he felt like a superstar. He's like, I feel like I have paparazzi. Like, so, I mean, they definitely were, but they were respectful in a way where it's like they're not like all in your face or anything, but they're like smiling, like, oh my gosh, look like people like that don't look like us. And we did have
Fair
like a
enough.
few people that were like, will you take a picture with us? And we're just like, we're not famous. We're just regular people.
At least they asked.
Yeah, so yeah, everyone was very kind about it. Like nobody was like malicious or anything with it. So that's a nice thing, I think. Whereas like they could be like in your face, like, look at the get out of here. They're just like, oh my gosh, they're enjoying our country.
Cool.
And it wasn't everywhere. It was really just at the Great Wall and then I think like one or two other places, but for the most part like in Shanghai, I don't think it was very like people would like look, but like just be like cool and then like there were definitely like stairs, but not as many photos.
Thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a great time. I think you're gonna love it. The food there is really good too. The food hits. If you like noodles and like dumplings.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So how long is that trip? Is that it's all gonna be one trip or is it multiple?
It's just gonna be one trip. I'll be out, I think, for like 5 weeks.
And how do you go about packing for a long trip like that? I'm curious.
So I am team carry-on all the
Mm,
way. Carry-ons might be a little oversized, but I hate checking a bag. So I use the Away big carry-on and a book bag off of Amazon that has a lot of space, and that's it. My backpack and my carry-on.
I'm so impressed, especially for 5 weeks.
Yes, I do laundry. I do laundry, so
Mhm.
you know, try to accessorize the fit so it looks like we have a lot of clothes, but we don't really have a lot of clothes. We have enough clothes.
We have enough, yes. So how do you do like a lot of staple pieces that kind of like just mix and match or
So this last trip in Europe where I spent what 12 days gallivanting through snow in Eastern Europe. I every country I had a houndstooth outfit. So houndstooth is my jam. So you can't really do much with houndstooth, but just rock the houndstooth. For warmer weather, there are some staple pieces, but I am big on dresses. I can wear a dress 365 days a year for sure. Rompers are hard nose because
hard
getting
nose?
out of dumpty. Um, mm, mm, mm. No bueno, no bueno. Yeah, I've been big now on leggings. I don't know when
Mm,
that started. As a school leader, it was always business casual at my school. But now I got a little bit more flexibility, so leggings it is.
absolutely, especially when it comes to comfort. That's one thing I have learned is I'm dressing for comfort, not fashion.
Or my friends are just like, but don't you go to the lounge all the time? Yes, I do. In my comfy clothes.
In my sweatpants, with my compression socks on. Oh man, so if there's anyone that comes up to you asking for some advice on how to get into traveling, what do you tell them?
Well, if they want to start solo traveling, I always say go back to a place that you've been to before with people, right? So
Hmm.
because you've already been there, it's familiar to you, you'll feel much more comfortable, and then branch out to trying that in a new place. I also tell people to start close and then venture out a little bit more. So those are like my two big tips. Go back to a place that you've been to before, but try it by yourself and then start close.
I love that, especially the start close. I feel like that's a good one. One more question, just good. What are some of your favorite like close trips to the city that you've done?
Ooh, I really enjoy Harper's Ferry. It's a quick Amtrak ride away from DC. Philly is also a good one. I haven't been to Baltimore like I really want to, and I feel like I should. Every time I plan a day trip, I'm just like, it's just up the street. I can do that any other time. So I don't go. And I'm just like, girl, the way people be talking about food out there, stop playing so much. So Baltimore is definitely on my list to explore more, and also Wilmington, Delaware. But I enjoy going to Philly for it could be a quick day trip or a weekend. And when it's nice out, I really enjoy the trails at Harper's Ferry.
Well, I don't think earlier, just to clarify on the community, is it like a email-based community or do you guys have like Zoom calls to go over or like how does if one wanted to sign up, how would they?
Yep, so I am big, ooh, sorry. I am big on the Instawebs. I always tell people to just DM me their email address, and I will put them on our email list of when trips drop, surveys. I even sometimes drop off deals to people like, oh, I remember this conversation we had. I actually saw a flight deal for that location. Here you go. So that's how people get in the know of things. So yeah, definitely email.
That's a love language right there. I remember you wanted to go here and I found a cheap flight. That's a love language. Well, Cynthia, thank you so, so much for your time today. It was so lovely talking to you, and I look forward to seeing you hit all the countries by your 40th.
Thank you so much. It's been great chatting with you too.